Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words and become much more articulate. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about a very dread-like topic, getting fired. No one wants to get fired. And folks that have gotten fired before, they understand the emotional distress and the uncertainty that someone feels when they have just been let go. Here's a strange philosophy that I have to reduce the likelihood of you getting fired. Work like you're 1 week away from getting fired. In this dread-like situation, what happens is that you become much more present and more ambitious in your role, which reduces the likelihood of you getting fired. Let me tell you about a time when I learned this philosophy. This was not too long ago. This was a couple of weeks ago. I was having a conversation with one of my buddies who I haven't talked to in a long time. I check out his Instagram every now and then, and career-wise, he seems like he's on top of the world. He is one of those guys that injects Botox or does the Botox line of work, which I know very little about. So as he's over here talking about it, he tells me that he's getting paid a lot of money. Everything is looking good. He's happy, he's married and such. But then he says something. He's like, whenever I'm working, I can never chill. He's like, I'm only 1 bad week away from getting fired. And when he said that, I didn't understand it. I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, you have such specialized knowledge. It would be difficult to replace a guy like you. Why would your managers possibly want to fire you? Especially if you just have 1 bad week, which a lot of people are allowed. And that's when he told me about his line of work. He's like, Armani, imagine that it's Monday. If I inject the wrong chemicals into a lady's lips, she's going to be furious. She's going to yell at me. She's going to yell at my manager. And she's going to potentially file a lawsuit on the company that I work for. That's on Monday. Now imagine if I repeat the same mistake on Tuesday. Once again, my head is in la la land and I inject the wrong chemicals in another lady's lips. The same anger is going to happen. And this time, my manager is like, I should actually fire you right now. I mean, 2 potential lawsuits? You know what you're costing me? Nah, I'll keep you, all right? But do not let this happen again. Now imagine if I repeat the same mistake on Wednesday. I'm done. My career is over. And when he told me that, I said, man, bro, I feel so bad for you. And he's like, don't. Because when I know that I'm only 1 week away from getting fired, each injection, my mind is present. I'm not off in la la land. I'm always present with my work. And when he said that, my mind went to the past. Roughly 10 years ago, when I was in college, I was just like any other college kid that wanted to make more money. And one way to make money as a college kid was to donate plasma. Every Sunday or every other Sunday, I would go to the plasma place and I would get hooked up. They would inject something in me. I would be hooked up to a system. And then I would just chill for 30 minutes as the plasma was donated. And then they would give me a debit card, which would be loaded up with money. I mean, this was an ideal situation for a college kid. I was pretty much getting paid to sit on my ass. Week by week, everything was going well until 1 week. I go to donate my plasma, and I could just tell the lady that was walking towards me that was going to connect me to the system, she just had this face where I'm like, I know that you're going to cause me some sort of problems. A very bitter looking face. And by the time she comes to me, rather than introducing herself, she just grabs my arm, pulls it around, injects something in it in a very uncomfortable sort of way. Normally, I feel a slight pain when someone would inject me. But this time, I felt an immense pain. And she's over here wiggling it around. I'm like, oh man, this is hurting a lot. I let her know and she's just like, don't worry, you'll be done in 30 minutes. And once she sets me up and I'm donating the plasma, I was just moving around the entire time because I was feeling so much pain. Once the time was up, she takes the stuff off, puts a Band-Aid on me, I get paid, and then I'm going about my week. But as I'm trying to go about my week, what happens is that I am feeling immense pain where she hooked me up. And it's not just the immense pain. My area right here is getting bruised up. I mean, the bruise is spreading. It's getting darker. It's causing some sort of skin discoloration. And whenever you're going through moments like this, the last thing you want to do is go on Google and research whatever the hell is happening to you. Because Google will suggest articles that will scare the shit out of you. And I'm just like, man, I can't read this. Like, you may die. I'm like, all right, let me turn this off. I couldn't move my arm past 90 degrees, right? So eventually I called the plasma center and I was like, hey, look, this is what happened to me. I went in detail and then I awaited the response. And they were like, it happens, all right? I mean, you can't always comment. It's always going to be good. Don't worry, the pain is going to go away in 2 weeks. 2 weeks? I got stuff to do. I am in immense pain and you are giving me this nonchalant response? You know, you guys should work like you're only 1 week away from getting fired. Now I understand the game. I mean, there are so many people coming to the plasma center trying to get a few extra dollars that I'm sure the people that work there can't always inject people correctly. But I really do believe if they had that line of thinking where, man, if I just mess up, if I just have 1 bad week, I'm fired, then they're not going to be nonchalant when they're setting someone up to the system. So my buddy taught me a great philosophy that works in the healthcare field. And I believe that this philosophy doesn't only have to be reduced to the healthcare field. I believe you could work in any field like that. And you don't always have to just say, okay, work like you're 1 week away from getting fired, because you may have a more laid-back job. But every now and then, when you're getting too lazy, the work is becoming too repetitive, you just want to create that scenario in your mind. I'm only 1 week away from getting fired. Anyone can get fired. And this just creates an alertness in you. And now, rather than being too lazy, too content, you have this spike of energy that allows you to sharpen your senses and reduce the likelihood of getting fired. Try this philosophy out for yourself. Work like you are only 1 week away from getting fired. And in this dread-like scenario, you will be more present, more ambitious, and you will give it your all for each and every single rep. Thank you very much for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you next time.